Hey guys, my name is Logan Shinholster, and in this video, we're going to be talking about Contractor Growth Network, which doesn't sound exactly the same as Contractor Sales Academy, but we actually, the two companies, work together on a lot of things. So don't mind the name, definitely watch the content because it's the exact same message. I hope you like it. Check it out. Hey everyone, welcome back to Contractor Growth Network. I'm Logan Shinholster, and today I'm not with Alex. I got a special guest. He went from 5 years in prison and now runs a 6-figure business. Zach Babcock, thanks for coming on, man.
Dude, what is cracking, dude? Thanks for having me, man. I'm excited to be here.
Dude, I appreciate it. So let me set the stage for everybody on how I first came about hearing about Zach and things like that. So as you guys know, I'm big on Billie Jean and all the help. Don't go in alone. Don't try to figure your stuff out yourself. If somebody's already doing what you want to do, just pay for it, invest in it. And I'm doing that with Billie Jean. And Billie Jean was, Zach, what, your third podcast that you ever did? Is that when you interviewed him?
Yeah, it was crazy, man. Launched a podcast, got ranked on day 3, and then next week we had Billie Jean on the show, which was insane at the time.
How do you launch a podcast and get ranked that fast?
Yeah, man. So everybody thinks like you gotta know all this crazy stuff like this algorithm hacks and like have a huge audience and know somebody who works in on the inside and all that. No, man, you put in some sweat equity and you get people to leave you a written review on your podcast. Most people do that part wrong and they put out this general message on social media instead of actually hitting people up individually. But yeah, man, simple as that, just getting people to leave you reviews.
Well, I'm definitely guilty of that. So we're going to jump into the whole idea of podcasting today because that's how I found Zach. It seems like that's like really your world and your jam. So before we jump into the podcast stuff, though, Zach, I'd love to just kind of talk about your background and the movement that you're running. So just to kind of lead it all off, can you run us through who is Zach Babcock and where have you been up until this point?
Yeah, man, I'll give you a super high level Cliff Notes version. And real quick before I get into that, you're a really genius marketer, bro. You sent me this incredible Yeti cup, this thermal cup, and I had one that I was using at the gym and I had just broken mine, literally because I dropped a dumbbell on it. And so it came in a few days after that and it's got my podcast logo on. I'm like, hell yeah, dude, this is dope or whatever. So I thought it was pretty cool he did that, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
no doubt, man. But yeah, man, Cliff Notes version. Dad died when I was real young. Grew up without a father figure. Always wanted to fit in with other people. Did stuff that was out of my character that really didn't align with who I was to be accepted. Started smoking and doing drugs when weed and alcohol when I was 9. By the time I was 17, I caught some cases for stealing, being a knucklehead, and I thought my life was over. And I started using hardcore drugs after that. And then about 2 years after that, I went away to prison on a 7-year sentence. That's a long story. We can unpack it more if you want, but I'm just giving the high Cliff Notes version. Anyways, did 4 years flat on that 7-year sentence. Got out for about 2 years, and then I went back for a DWI violation. I went back just 20 days before my twin sons were born, and that's when I was like, dude, I'm done. That's it. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. All I wanted growing up was to be the father I didn't have. I remember playing football and all my friends' dads being at practice and wondering how that felt and telling myself that I was going to be there be the coach of my kids' football team one day. So that was it, man. And I didn't know what I was going to do, how I was going to make it happen. I just knew I wanted to be happy and successful and be in my kids' life and be a responsible father. 8 months later, came home, couldn't get a job anywhere, got in entrepreneurship for the next, I didn't make any money for the next 4 years. um, Ran into a bunch of brick walls, but dude, I ended up launching the podcast because anytime I tried to collaborate with any entrepreneur, bro, nobody took me seriously. I was just an ex-convict turned entrepreneur afterthought that nobody gave the time of day to. And I was pissed, dude. I was like, I'm not gonna let these snap judgments keep me in this box. I get that people judge people. That's just how we're wired to survive. Everybody does it with everybody, but I'm not gonna let those snap judgments keep me in that box. And so I created Underdog Empowerment as a result of that. Got it ranked on day 3, like I mentioned, and Billie Jean had him on the next week. So I literally went in 1 week's worth of time, nobody giving me a chance to interviewing celebrities, and then it's just been crazy ever since. I built a 6-figure business in a matter of 8 months. when we finally broke through. And it's we're in scale mode now, but it's just been really incredible, that growth, and seeing how much different it is now, scaling a business and building an organization
Right.
versus doing it yourself, just trying to get it off the ground. It's a night and day difference, man.
So let me start from the beginning, if that's cool with you. So growing up, you're playing football and you're looking on the sidelines and your dad's not there. And the reason I want to bring this back up is because a lot of the contractors that are listening to this are guilty, and we all are to a certain extent, of stealing time from their families, right? They're trying to grow this business. They're trying to do everything they can. So in the long run, they are successful and they're providing for the family, but they miss the first 5 years of their kid's life, which I think science shows that it's like what, like the first 7 years of your life are like, that sets you up for the rest of your life. So for you, I mean, how much of an impact did that have on you not having your dad around for everything, if you don't mind me digging into that a little bit?
Yeah, man. I think it had a major impact. Like I said, though, I'm really grateful for my mom, because I feel like I picked up on a lot of a lot of great traits that she had. But I didn't know what it meant to be a man, and I would do things that were way out of my character just to try to be accepted and fit in with other people. And we all do to an extent, because, dude,
Mhm.
as human beings, our number one fear besides death is being exiled from the tribe. So we want to be accepted. We're social animals, right? But I took that like out of proportion. I did it, probably more than what average people would do. And
Mhm.
that was a big thing. And then and that didn't really change until I experienced other things later on in life, till I really became my own man, and stopped caring so much what other people think about me. We all do. We all care what other people think about us to an extent. Anybody says that they don't, they're lying, unless they're just a psychopath. But but I stopped doing it to a degree where it was unhealthy.
How? What got you to that point where you started to just realize that you were just going to do you regardless of what everybody else thought?
It was a bunch of different events. It wasn't like one thing for me. It was a bunch of things that led up to another. Like, some of it happened while I was in prison, when my sister passed away from a heroin overdose, and like I went through that dark time, but I grew, and I feel that's when I really felt like, for the first time in my life, I became a man, when my sister died. So it's a crazy story, but I really, I had to dig deep and find some type of peace and hope in a really dark time. But then more so, though, just as time goes on, as we get older, I feel like, well, at least from my experience, that I didn't need that validation as much from other people. Like, I started realizing that, hey, if I'm doing all this stuff to try to fit in and stuff, and I go get in trouble and go, none of these mother. Can you cuss on your show? My
Yeah,
bad.
you're good. Yep, do it. Yep.
All right, my bad. But yeah, but none of these people are gonna be around when I'm not around. Whenever I go get locked up, like, nobody. I didn't get a single letter when I was gone. So none of these people matter. It's it's hard to explain, man. It's like, and that was with the old crowd. Like, the people that I surround myself today do matter. You know what I mean? So, but
Mhm.
I go off on tangents and rabbit holes sometimes too. So if I ever get off track, just like, Zach.
It's perfect. Yep. No, you're good.
But it's hard to articulate, like, the exact, like, coming into that. It progressed and graduated over time.
So when did all that start to, I mean, I know you said you started in prison, but like, do you feel like you're still on your journey, or do you think you've made it as a man and now like you're just optimizing where you're at with everything?
I feel like I'm always on the journey, and
Uh-huh.
I here's my thing. I always tell people, like, all right, for instance, with our top 200 script for getting ranked on Apple, like, I literally did that manually myself, figured it out, and did it over 4,000 times, no exaggeration at all. And so most people that did something 4,000 times and got something to work after doing it 4,000 times, they'd say they perfected something. But I never say I perfected anything, because if I say I perfected something, that means it can't get any better. But if I
Right.
say I've optimized it, that means that, hey, I got it working, it's working pretty good, but there's still a chance that it could be better. So I always will. You'll never hear me say I perfected anything, because I haven't, because I'm a big believer that there's always room for improvement. But yeah, this is how I look at it, and I feel like I'm always growing. Like, I'm way further along, obviously, than what I was starting out, or before I made this paradigm shift in my life.
Mm-hmm.
but there's still so much more that I have that I don't. There's so much that I don't know, and that I have to learn, and that I have to grow into still. And I'll believe that to the day I die.
So with you and your journey, especially where you are, like with all these podcasts that you're doing now, there's a huge, I guess, fear. And I mean, and I experience it where you're not afraid of putting yourselves out there, but I know for me, like I'm afraid of like people seeing that I'm still small. Like I think that's really what the fear is. So have you ever experienced that where you're like when you're growing this your brand and everything, you're trying to do this whole fake it till you make it mentality? Like, did you ever do that, or have you always been very true to who you are?
I love this question, bro. And here's the thing about fake it till you make it. Um, you people get the wrong idea. They get they take it the words and they get it mixed up and they do it wrong. And what I mean by that is you can't act like something that you're not. All right, and lie to people and promise results when you can't deliver on it. However, you do also have to act as if you are that person, that you're stepping into it, and that you are confident in what you're doing. So it's a really fine line that you gotta walk there.
Hmm.
And and I say this, and I'm really harsh against the fake gurus and and all that stuff, man. Because I made a mistake myself, man. I'll tell you a story, dude. Um, and I get it, man. If you're like, there's people out there that are legit scamming people that I have absolutely no respect for, and then there's actual people out there that aren't trying to scam people. They're doing it out of good intentions because they had this dream, this vision of success, and they want it so bad, and they're doing whatever it takes to make it happen. But at the end of the day, whether you're doing it out of good intentions or not, if you promise somebody something that you cannot deliver on, you are scamming people, and you should be put on blast, and you should not do that anymore. You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
man, I did it though, dude. Like so when Underdog Empowerment blew up right out the gate, and it was like like I'm growing my brand and things are going good, but I still wasn't monetizing right at that time. I still hadn't put the finger on how I could specifically solve a specific problem for a specific person. And this guy reached out to me, and he had this program that had over 20 million in revenues and over 1,000 successful graduates. And the program was lead gen, customer acquisition, and scaling a business. However, at the time, I'm broke as dude. I haven't done none of that yet.
Hmm.
I haven't figured out even how to sell anything or generate leads because I didn't have anything there yet. But we took this program, repurposed it, and had me running it as like the face of the brand, right? And we're bringing people into this program. However, I felt like an imposter. I felt like a scumbag. I felt like a sleazeball. I felt slimy. I felt all that, right? Because I'm sitting here trying to achieve what I was teaching by teaching it, and that was just ass backwards.
Yeah.
And it was, man. And so, because of that, it didn't align with my values and who I was as a person. And so I made a post and called myself out on this shit. It's literally on my Facebook, and I did it on Christmas Day of 2018. And I called myself out. I said, hey, look, guys, this is what I'm doing. We're getting people coming in through this program. It's a legit program. However, I haven't done this myself and I don't feel right. So even though it's working right now, I'm pulling the plug on this. I'm going back to the drawing board. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue to do my podcast and do affiliate marketing, but I'm going to come back to the marketplace when I have something legit. And dude, that was so tough to do at first, like to put myself out there like that.
Hmm.
But as soon as I did it, I knew it was the right decision because it was so liberating. It felt like the world was lifted off of my chest. I was doing the right thing. I was acting out of my values, not off of what I speculated, what I was supposed to do for other people. I was doing shit for me.
Hmm.
And then I even got more affirmation after that. People reaching out to me afterwards, like, bro, that was a breath of fresh air, man. Much respect for doing that, man. I appreciate that. And it wasn't easy at the time, but man, that was one of the best decisions I ever made because it led me to what I'm doing now.